We grow up chasing a ghost, a word whispered in fairy tales, carved into graduation speeches, sold to us in glossy billboards. The promise that life, if lived correctly, will reward us with a single prize: happiness. But here's the cruel irony. The more desperately we reach for it, the more it slips through the cracks of our fingers, like water in a closed fist. And so begins the silent prison we call the happiness trap. Look around. Entire industries rise and fall on this hunger. Self-help shelves groan with promises of lasting positivity. Apps track your mood like a stock market. Social feeds overflow with dazzling smiles, exotic trips, and the constant illusion that everyone else has figured out the secret you somehow missed. And yet, beneath the polished glow, anxiety swells, depression deepens, and an epidemic of quiet emptiness spreads across the world. How strange. In a time when we chase joy more than ever, we feel more hollow than we ever have. John Stuart Mill, the philosopher, once confessed, "Ask yourself whether you are happy, and you cease to be so." Modern psychology now whispers the same warning. The more you make happiness your goal, the more it escapes you. Because happiness is not a destination. It is the horizon, always visible, but always one step beyond your grasp. But why does this trap enchant us so deeply? Because happiness sells. It is the most marketable dream. A culture addicted to joy is a culture easy to control. So we buy and we scroll and we compare, always believing the next milestone, the next purchase, the next fix will finally unlock that elusive state. But idols always demand sacrifice, and this idol demands your patience, your peace, sometimes even your sanity. There is another danger, too. In worshiping happiness, we declare war on its opposite. We treat sadness like a disease. We exile grief. We medicate silence. We brand discomfort as failure. But Carl Jung warned us. Happiness would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Light without shadow blinds the eye. A life without sorrow flattens into emptiness. The irony is sharp. By running from pain, we rob joy of its depth. Perhaps the real trap is not unhappiness itself, but the terror of feeling it. Viktor Frankl, who endured Auschwitz, noticed something profound. The survivors were not those who clung to happiness, but those who clung to meaning. Happiness, he wrote, cannot be pursued. It must ensue as the side effect of devotion to a cause greater than oneself. Meaning, purpose, love. These are not as glamorous as joy, but they are steadier ground to stand on. Think for a moment about the last time you felt truly alive. Not the fleeting sugar rush of a like or a purchase, but a joy so quiet it felt like peace. Did it come from chasing happiness? Or did it come as an aftertaste of something else? A deep conversation, a piece of work that mattered, a storm survived, a moment of presence so pure you forgot to ask, "Am I happy?" That is the secret we've buried. Happiness is not the prize at the end of the road. It is the fragrance left behind as we walk. And so, the more you demand happiness from life, the more life will resist. Because happiness, like love, is not something to be seized. It is something that arrives softly when you are no longer chasing it. Maybe the truer question is not, how can I be happy? But, what is worth suffering for? Because, in the end, happiness is not the goal. It is the shadow cast by meaning, by love, by the raw act of living fully. And perhaps, when you finally stop running, when you let go of the frantic chase, you will turn around and realize happiness was never waiting at the finish line. It was walking beside you all along.